What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to check out the 2025 Nissan Sentra SR. This one is pretty much fully loaded, finished in the two-tone Atlantic gray with the black. MSRP is around $29,600. Would you buy this over a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla or maybe the Hyundai Elantra? Do you think Nissan is making the best affordable compact sub $30,000 car? Comment below, is the Nissan Sentra the way to go over the Civic, Corolla, and Elantra? So if we pop the hood now, underneath the hood of this you are going to find that naturally aspirated 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine. It makes 149 horsepower with 146 pound-feet of torque, also paired to a CVT as well as front-wheel drive. With all that, curb weight is only 3,000 pounds. It runs on a 12.4 gallon fuel tank, and you're looking at 30 miles per gallon in the city with 40 out on the highway. So it's a pretty nice design overall. I really like the shape of the headlights. They got some nice sharp lines to them, and then you can see how it cuts into the grille. Got a little bit of chrome trim, black throughout the grille itself, SR badge, as well as a nice looking Nissan logo. You can also see a forward-facing camera and then a good amount of openings to provide some cooling. Sporty looking front splitter, and then a nice trim piece on the far side. To be honest, this is a really good looking car. It doesn't look like just an inexpensive economy car. It actually looks pretty nice and pretty sporty. You can see some sharp body lines throughout the hood as well, fading into the windshield, and I really like how this line goes from the hood right into the fender and fades away towards the side. You also have a set of 18-inch wheels, dual tone color, multi-spoke look, sharp body line throughout that front fender, and then a pretty cool looking side skirt to give it that more sporty vibe. More body molding to it as well. There's a camera underneath the mirror with an integrated turn signal, and then the two-tone black looks really good. You can see how the roof appears like it's floating. We got the sunroof, small antenna as well, and I really like that chrome trim piece down below all the windows. So it has a really good look to it. You can see more of these sharp body lines throughout the rear end of the car, just giving it a wider appearance. And like the hood, these kind of fade into the trunk right into that spoiler. So really good use of design elements. Got the nice small lip spoiler, all of your badging throughout the rear. There are rear parking sensors, got Sentra written out on this protective piece, and then a little bit of black trim with a single exhaust tip. Got a nice little sporty design on that diffuser as well, and you really can't complain. I think overall it's one of the better looking affordable compacts. From here, there's gonna be a button underneath. We can manually pop open the trunk, and you have a pretty good amount of space in here. Very wide as well, nice low load floor, and there even is a spare tire underneath the carpet with the jack. So for the rear seats, I had them folded down, as you can tell. The way to do that, you have to go in through these side doors, and there's gonna be a pull pin right here to get these down. So from here, of course, opens up the cargo space. They fold nearly flat, so it makes it pretty easy overall. You're also gonna see we have a nice armrest in the center with cup holders, the black synthetic leather material throughout the interior with contrast stitching, a little bit of storage, and then one single USB port. So overall, pretty practical car. With the seats up, you can get a good idea of all that storage. And then taking a look inside once again, you're gonna have some harder plastics back here, this nice smooth vinyl material with the stitching, and you'll see some of this plastic carbon look all throughout. Now, hopping inside at 5'11", I do have these seats slid forward a little bit. That way I could fold these down without the headrest hitting. But with the seat at my height, I have just about an inch of knee room, which isn't too bad. And then sitting here, I do have pretty good headroom, a nice view around, and the seats are at a good base and they have a good angle to where I don't feel cramped. The seat's actually cradling my legs pretty well, and not bad. This is probably one of the better rear seats for the class. I find it pretty nice and spacious. 2 adults at least are not gonna have an issue back here. So from here, the key fob on this car will give you remote start. We have lock and unlock, of course. And if I go ahead and lock the car, you can just press that button and automatically unlock the interior. Now for here, you have more of a soft touch on the upper part of the door, and then all the same materials. Of course, all of your basic controls, a Bose audio system, and then power controls for this front seat. You have this nice design with the smooth leather, and then of course more of the contrast stitching. And I like the small orange stripe up above with some black fabric throughout it. Flat bottom steering wheel as well with the nice black leather wrapping it. And then hopping inside, foot on the brake, let's fire it up. Everything turns on. You got a cool display all around it. You can see the analog tach and speedometer. And if I just scroll left and right, you can see some information that will pop up Pretty much like all of your typical Nissan, so nothing really too fancy, but basically all the info you're gonna need. We have the windshield wiper stalk on the right, turn signal and headlights on the left, a few more Bluetooth and audio controls, and then cruise control settings, and then just a nice view all around. We have an eco mode as well, interior dimming, trip reset, and then our trunk release. Got one of your air vents and then some soft touch material. There's more of this plastic carbon material, and then more of this like soft touch rubber with like this fake stitching. So it kind of ties it all in together. Again, sub 30 grand, pretty sporty looking. For the multimedia screen, pretty simple overall. All your typical Nissan stuff here, nothing really all too fancy. You have some settings, shortcut for the camera, you got a top down and a front view, and then the rear view will pop up once you're in reverse. So while it's kind of a small screen, it still utilizes itself very well to give you what you need. Of course, you have more shortcuts and everything. 3 climate vents down below that with hazards, and then all of your controls are here. We have your fan speed right in the center, heated steering wheel and seats, dual zone temperature as well with the defrost, and then auto start stop, extra plugs, and all sorts of storage all throughout the center. Got your drive select, and then more of this contrast material, and then popping that open, you got a pretty decent amount of space. And then over here, once again, nice amount of space. One last look at the interior. Not really much to complain about for the price point. Seems like a pretty decent interior. You got a light color headliner, manual sunshade with the sliding roof. You can see the controls, dome lights, sunglass holder, and then a nice thin basic mirror. So setting off now in the Nissan Sentra. Just giving it half throttle. I like how the RPM stay below 5,000. To be honest, some of the competition like the Toyota Corolla, I feel like it revs a lot higher. So nice to see this CVT doing a better job at managing the revs to where you don't have to just redline it all the time. So getting my bearings now. Pretty good visibility overall, as you can tell, really easy to see around the front. Mirrors all do a good job. You know, the center mirror gives you a good view. No real blind spots at all. Honestly, it's a really easy car to see around. Now, at my height, 5'11", I do sit here as my legs, I feel, are a little bit long. So I feel like that is my one complaint with the Sentra over the competition. It just seems like if you have longer legs, this might be a bit cramped. I don't see the same issue in a Civic or the Toyota Corolla. So that's probably my one complaint just for my height. Aside from that, this thing's pretty peppy for what it is. Does not have a lot of power, but you know, the CVT kind of manages the power to where it gets up to speed quickly and efficiently, and you're not just redlining it and pressing the gas to the floor. I'm literally half throttling it, just kind of babying this, driving it very conservatively, and yet it's zippy and snappy. The seat comfort is pretty decent overall. They're a little on the stiff side comparing it to other cars in this class, but it's an easy car to drive, and I like how the steering actually gives you feedback. Normally, inexpensive economy cars like this are just generic, but this steering actually feels really good and kind of tight, like a higher end car. So that's something that I'm impressed with this little Sentra. Ride quality, things like that. You hear the road a little bit. You know, we're only going 45 on kind of a bad road, but it's not really all too bad. It seems pretty decently comfortable and refined for what it is. Again, this is an inexpensive car. It's not going to be a BMW, but it rides pretty good. The suspension does absorb bumps really well as well. So it seems like it isn't really a bad option at all. It seems to have some good features to it. It's really easy to use all the information on the interior. I wouldn't say it's really leaps and bounds amazing comparing it to others. It's really simple, pretty on par, I guess, with a Corolla, just given it's just pretty simple, old school. I do like the turning radius along with the camera system. I mean, to have a 360 camera view in this car is actually pretty surprising, and those sensors. So from here, I can really easily tell where everything is. And before, I actually did this without doing an extra turn. So you can do a normal 3-point turn in a 2-wide lane. So nice to see this is very maneuverable. It also does feel like an open interior, so it doesn't really feel all that cramped aside from just my legs. I really want to scoot this back farther, but then I can't reach the steering wheel, and that is as far back as we can go. So there is my one complaint, just my legs are, I think, too long for this particular car. But overall fundamental driving experience, it's about what you would expect. It seems pretty comfortable overall, pretty peppy, and it doesn't seem like you have to stress the vehicle to do what you need to do and just drive it pretty comfortably and get good gas mileage at the same time.